Talked about the possibility of dying in office. But first, Iraq. And joining us, John Kennedy on January 3rd, 1960, talking about dying in office. January 1960, talking about presidential succession.
Primaries about which I want to make a decision. Rather difficult.
Meet the press. 1960, Senator John F. Kennedy announced his candidacy for the presidency of the United States. The very next day, he appeared on Meet the Press and talked about the role of vice president and the possibility of a president dying in office.
Well, what do you do if it is the judgment of your party that you should accept the vice presidency?
Well, I'm not going to accept the vice presidential nomination. I shall support the Democratic ticket. I'll work hard for it. But looking at the history of the last 60 years, I don't recall a single case where a vice presidential candidate contributed an electoral vote. People vote for the presidential candidates on both sides. That's what's going to happen in 1960. They presume that the presidential candidate is going to have a normal life expectancy. They don't say, we don't like the presidential candidate, but we'll vote for the vice presidential candidate. I don't want to spend the next 8 years, as I said yesterday, presiding over the Senate rarely, as Mr. Nixon has rarely done, voting in the case of ties on the very rarest occasions, because they rarely occur, and waiting for the president to die. Unfortunately, in the Constitution, that was all the authority that the vice president was given.
Senator Kennedy, you've defined the job of the vice president as that of breaking ties and watching the president's health. Does that mean that if you are the presidential nominee of the Democratic Party, you'll select the throttle bottom as your vice presidential running mate?
No, I'll select the best man I could get if my life expectancy was not what I hope it will be. But that really is not, I wouldn't think, an enviable prospect for the second man, whose only opportunity to exert influence on the course of events would be if I should die.
Less than 4 years after that interview, John Kennedy was killed, and Lyndon Johnson, his vice president, became the 36th president of the United States. And we'll be right back.